Good morning, guys. We are off to Ireland in 5 days' time, and we have got so much we need to do before we go. Boy, that sun's bright in my eyes. Let me just pull that over. Right, where is it? Now I bet I'm too dark. We have got so much to do in the next 5 days. So we're getting the ferry across to Belfast on Friday, first thing in the morning. We're heading into Northern Ireland, and then we're driving straight through into Southern Ireland, which means we have to get animal health certificates for our 2 dogs, and we also need another bit of documentation to get them into Northern Ireland, which is pretty straightforward, but it's another hoop we didn't know we had to jump through. But before we go, we've got an overnight just outside Lincoln, because quite honestly, trying to get animal health certificates through our local vets was extortionate. They gave us the most ridiculous quote, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds to get both dogs their animal health certificates and their rabies jabs. So we found a vet about an hour away, just near Lincoln. So we've decided we're going to take Pete and have a bit of an overnighter with the dogs while they get their animal health certificates sorted out. And it gives us a chance to give Pete a bit of a run, because she hasn't been out for a week or two. But the last time she was used was while I was in Cyprus last week, and Mark decided he needed a bigger van, so poor Pete became a works van. So there is wood all over the floor because he was transporting some big sheets of wood, and it's my job to get her tidy and spick and span so we can enjoy our time away. So can't stand here talking to you, I've got work to do. Good morning. Right, so Pete is now spick and span. It's tomorrow from when I spoke to you last. We're about to head off to Lincoln. We just need to get the dogs and things in the van. It's funny when it's an overnighter, I'm like, oh, what do I need to take? What do I need to take? And then I remember I'm only away for a night, so I don't need to take much at all. We've got about an hour to drive, and we've got a whole day today. The dogs aren't booked in until 3 o'clock tomorrow, so we're making a day of it today. The last time we were at this place was, I would say, maybe 18 months ago, maybe not quite that long. And we actually were taking the dogs there to try and socialise them, and they're brilliant now most of the time in social situations, but up till then we hadn't really done it. We take them for walks generally when it's quiet, so it'll be interesting today to see how they get on. I'll put a link to the original video where Lucy, the little monkey, tried to steal somebody's sausage sandwich, which was not fun. Lucy!
All right, you don't need it. We're going to take him, mate. No, he's got one.
Calm down. She's all yours.
You love her?
No, not at this moment, I don't. She nearly had this lady's sausage back. That was traumatic.
We are parked around here. This is the small lake at the top. There's this long strip of water that leads to all these swan home lakes at the bottom. Last time we walked around here. This time we're going to walk down here, and I don't know if we'll have time to do these lakes as well.
Okay.
So there we go, that's the plan.
Alright, let's do it. This is their sensory and wildflower garden. Not sure which senses he's meant to be calming. It's a bit scary. I think you'll come off worse, Luce. Angry swans, not a good sign.
It's very loose, gravelly
it's not a bit
sand.
steep, but it's a bit loose underfoot and very dry.
Very loose.
Well, that could have been fun.
Yes, you were rather footloose over there.
And fancy free.
So as we thought, these are disused sand and gravel pits. They were used up to about 1960, and then in 1985 they were declared a site of special scientific interest. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
site of special scientific interest, triple SI.
Yeah, that's it. So there's areas that are cordoned off to stop you disturbing the very fragile plants growing. But yeah, there's...
So are you saying Hart's Home Country Park was built on the quarries, or just this little bit?
I think it might be these specific lakes here.
So this is Swan Home
Yes.
Lakes, isn't it? Right, so can we talk about the animal health certificate? We've had to go through quite a few hoops to get the dogs sorted with their animal health certificate, because we were going to use our own local vet, but when we asked about the price, it was extortionate, wasn't it? Can you remember what they quoted us?
I think it was going to come up in at about £750.
I think it was about £300 for each dog, and then there was a little bit more of their rabies jabs.
Yeah, so they were charging twice what the other was quoting for the baby jab. I got a fly, by the way. Yeah, so the way we went, they charged £58 per dog for rabies. The others were up to £113 per dog.
Yeah.
So just about double. And then I think the certificate is 150 here. They wanted 300.
300,
So the whole thing was going to be doubled. It was going to get on to, 750.
Yeah. So we're off to the Republic of Ireland, and because it's obviously part of the EU, you need an animal health certificate, and we need one for each dog. So we looked at our local vet. As we've already said, it was too expensive. And then I started doing a bit of research online and found quite a few sort of online vets that do animal health certificates, but you still have to take your dog there for them to check the dog, to check it's chipped. They've both got to be chipped, haven't they?
Yes.
That was the other requirement. And then they also all wanted confirmation by email from our vet that their annual injections and everything were up to date. And knowing that our vet was going to charge ridiculous amounts for the animal health certificates, we reckoned, we didn't ask, but we reckoned they'd probably charge quite a bit just to send an email. Plus, we would have had to travel. I think the closest one I could find online to us was Nottingham, which is an hour's drive. So while I was doing my research, I found a vet in, near Lincoln. Can you remember the name of the vet?
I can't say.
It's Vicarage Vets, isn't it? I'll try and remember the name of the vet and I'll put it in the description. But when we asked about their prices, as we've already said, they were so much cheaper. So although we've had to still travel an hour, we've actually re-registered our dogs with this vet because they're pretty much cheaper for everything. And we came to this campsite about a year ago, as I've already said, and this campsite's very close to the vets. So we thought, right, we'll just make a day of it and we'll come out, book in for the night in the campsite and get the dogs sorted tomorrow. Can you just talk through what the process is for getting an animal health certificate?
Yeah, so they must be microchipped, and most dogs are. So when you go to the vet, they'll check that and confirm the number they read on their reader matches the number on your certificate. Confirm that. Plus, they have to have a rabies vaccination. But a lot of dogs in the UK haven't got that unless they go abroad. So, if it's your first rabies vaccination, as it was for ours, you then had to wait 21 days before they can issue the animal health certificate. So, the animal health certificate has to be within 10 days of travelling. Then you need 21 days before that for your rabies. So you've got to make sure you start 31 days, a month in advance.
Assuming you can get an appointment.
And then you've got to book the appointment, so that might be a month in advance. So you can't leave this to the last moment. You have to be very proactive, really. Be aware of the process.
So once we're in Ireland, the plan is to find a vet who can issue a pet passport, because otherwise, every time we go out of the country into a non-UK country, we will have to get another animal health certificate. That means we're going to have this same rigmarole again every time.
So if you get an animal health certificate, it's valid for entering the country you're going to for 10 days. And once you're in the country, it's valid for 4 months. But you can't leave the country and go back. You couldn't go to France for a week, come back, and then go back the week after. As soon as you come out of the country, animal health certificate now null and void.
Yes,
It's
that's
4
true.
months
Yeah.
while you're there in that European or whatever country. But if you come out of that country and go back home, it's cancelled. You have to start again.
And of course, if you're a Brit and you're going into Europe and into the Schengen area, you're allowed to stay there for 3 months, but your dogs can stay for 4, which is quite bizarre. But anyway, we will be looking at getting an animal passport, and we'll be vlogging our time in Ireland. So we'll go through that as well when we're out there, because obviously that's the plan. We don't know whether it will happen or how easy it'll be.
There we go. I've got the address of the vet. It's Church Road,
Saxilby, just near Lincoln. And it's Vicarage Vets, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
So they were very good. They were brilliant when you went. They did pick up that Lucy's got problems with her teeth, which we kind of knew about, and they're going to sort those when we get back, because he said there's no point in doing them now and making her holiday uncomfortable, didn't he? Yes. Which was good. So we've kind of talked through the animal health certificate, but because we're passing through Northern Ireland has another little bit of documentation that you have to have.
I think that's the pet travel document or something like that. It's free to get. You just need to get it, and it lasts forever. And I don't think there's a charge. I think it's free. You just have to say, yeah, I'm the owner. This is my address. This is the dog, the type of dog, and the dog's name. And that's it, really. Yeah. When I searched animal health certificates, the government website came up, and that is very, very good. It's very, very clear. I often find the government website a bureaucratic nightmare, but actually, the animal health certificate, it's very, very clear.
Yeah. So there are some other criteria with the animal health certificate. So, as Mark's already said, you can't get it issued more than 10 days before your day of travel. In fact, that's another thing that the vet was very good at. He was very specific about what day are you travelling, wasn't he?
Yes, and my initial conversation with him was, he said, when are you travelling? So I said Thursday the 19th. But then he drilled down. He said, well, not when you set it off, when are you getting to Southern Ireland? So I said, oh, right. Well, if we set it off on the Thursday, it'll probably be the Friday. And he said, are you sure? And then I thought about it again. And I said, no, you're right, actually. We go to Birkenhead on the Thursday evening, set off on the ferry from Birkenhead to the Friday morning, gets us into Belfast, 6 p.m. Friday. So we won't get into Southern Ireland probably till midday on the Saturday.
So that's an interesting one then. So say we were going to do a week in Northern Ireland followed by a week in Southern Ireland, we probably would have had to get our animal health certificate and the tapeworm in Northern Ireland, not in England, because we'd have run out of time, wouldn't we?
Yeah. So if he acted on my first response of we're travelling on the 19th, I worked 5 days before for the tapeworm, plus 1 day for leeway, he'd have said, the 15th, and then it'll run out on the 20th. But in fact, we wouldn't have got into Southern Ireland till the 21st. Yeah.
So basically what we're saying, he was very diligent and knew his stuff. So anyway, they're all done. Well, they will be tomorrow. I can't mince tomorrow to get them seen and get the animal health certificates. But I think the passport will be a much better route. And did I read or listen to something on the news to suggest that they were actually talking about getting rid of animal health certificates in the future. Did we read something about that?
Yes, about a month ago, we had negotiations with,
We being the British government.
yeah,
not
was it
us.
France or that lady band or whatever her name is, about freedom of movement for students, and then British tourists being able to go through European passport control instead of outside European. And as another byproduct of that was the pet passport being reintroduced. But it needs to be flashed out, and I reckon it's going to be at least a year.
Yeah, these things never go quickly, but it is a real nose if you want to take your pets. I think I stupidly got into my head that Southern Ireland had some sort of exemption. I'm assuming there must be some sort of local agreement if you live in Northern Ireland and you're right on the border.
What if your dog escapes from the back garden and
Yeah.
ends up in some?
I'm sure there must be something, but travelling from the UK, as in, or travelling from Great Britain, England, Scotland, Wales, into Southern Ireland, yeah, you got to go through the hoops. But there you go. We've come away without our Bose Bluetooth speaker, and we want to be able to listen quietly to music, and I hate listening to it through the phone. So I think Mark's found one at a local Sainsbury's, so I'm going to stay here. He's going to pop across to Argos and Sainsbury's and pick up a new Bluetooth speaker just for the van, because we always seem to forget it. That's the thing, isn't it, when you're trying to pass things from the van to the home, to the van to the home. Ideally, what we want to be able to do is just swap the milk from the house fridge into the van fridge and go. So he's going to go off to Sainsbury's and leave me here with the dogs while he's away. So this is the little Bluetooth speaker that Mark picked up earlier. We forgot to bring our Bose, and actually when you're just sat here having a bit of a barbecue or a drink and you want a bit of music, your phone just sounds tinny and awful, doesn't it? So how much was that, Mark?
$11.99.
Okay, so we pushed the boat out, but we'll leave it in the van. But it's all right, actually, just to give you an idea. It's hard to see the perspective of how big it is, but that's my GoPro, which is tiny, right next to it.
4 inches high?
Yeah, it's pretty small from Argos, but it sounds all right. I mean, we've got it on about a third volume because we're sat here and there's people around. I've just realised the perspective on this. You look tiny next to that beer bottle. It looks like we're drinking a beer that's about 6 foot tall. Yeah, if you bring your hands forward, that looks really funny. You look like, what's it called? Dumb and Dumber? Was it Dumb and Dumber that wore their hats that way? Oh God, I can't remember. It was a Harry Enfield one, wasn't it? Good morning. We're about to set off. We've had a good clear up this morning. We can stay here till 12, but we're going to leave a little bit early. It's about 10 o'clock now. We've got a good few hours before we can get the dogs into the vets at 3 o'clock. So we're going to go to another park called Boltham Park, which apparently has another lake. Seems to be a definite park and lake theme going on for this vlog. But we're going to go and have a look and kill some time, probably grab a bit of lunch in the meantime. We didn't have the best night's sleep last night. Normally we make up the bed into a double. We have a very clear routine. Last night went a little bit awry because I think we were a bit dehydrated after our walk, and we came back and we didn't do the sensible thing of having lots of water. We dived straight into having a beer each. I mean, to be fair, we shared 2 beers. So in reality we had 1 each. But I think because we were tired and dehydrated, it just went straight to my head. So I ended up just falling asleep on a single bed, and Mark, when we went to bed, just did the same. Definitely think in the future we'll go back to making the double bed up. It's so much more comfortable, and I didn't use my mattress topper. That'll teach us. Don't drink beer when you're dehydrated. And I think Mark might just have a slightly fuzzy head this morning. I'm not sure. I'm talking quietly just in case. So how's your head this morning?
It's alright now. When I woke up at 7 it was a bit fuzzy, but then I did about a 45-minute walk with the dogs around the lake and that cleared it.
Yeah, because you didn't just have 1 beer, did you?
Go
on, tell the truth.
I had a little bit of wine.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Is that the half bottle that's left in the fridge then? Yeah, the other half.
And now I've had a good breakfast and a good walk, and I'm 100%.
Good. Yeah, keep coming. You're clear of all the foliage. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. Here we go. Oh, Boltham Park. Literally 1.5 miles away from where we were at Hartsheim Country Park. There's loads of green space around Lincoln. And if you've not, come on, oh, this way. If you've never been to Lincoln City, Hartsheim would be a great campsite to explore Lincoln. Obviously with Lincoln you've got a lot of history. One of the original copies of the Magna Carta can be seen at Lincoln Cathedral, or Lincoln Castle. I think it's in the castle actually. And you've got the cathedral and the castle right next to each other, and the castle is well worth a visit. You can get right up and around the ramparts, and they've got this brilliant old jail that you can go in that's been kind of either preserved, probably not preserved, probably replaced to look like the original, with the separated pews so none of the prisoners could see each other, because they felt that if they could see each other there'd be more chance that they would cross-contaminate each other and be a bad influence on each other. So in the prison, in the church in the prison, all of the pews are separated so nobody can see anybody. It's really interesting. It's worth a visit. Another lovely space, isn't it?
I was just going to check I locked because I didn't do the Otagi thing.
One of the nicest sounds in the world is when you walk through green space and you can hear just the birds singing. Listen to this. Little bit of traffic noise, but just loads of bird song. I just love it. I think it's good for the soul. I don't think this is anywhere near as big as Hartsheim Country Park, so I think we'll probably walk around it in not a very long space of time. But yeah, it's very pretty. Let's go and have a look over. It's not flowing, no poo sticks today. This is lovely, Mark. All these little metal sculptures along the way. We've had a fish, we've had a tree, we've had a boat, and now we've got a butterfly or a pollinator. Why do we need pollinators? Because without them we couldn't survive. That's St Helens Church behind me, Commonwealth Church graveyard, and it looked beautiful, but I didn't want to go in because there's somebody there sat at a grave and I think they're probably just having a little moment. So it's a beautiful little church right on the edge of the park, but I'm gonna, yeah, just leave her in peace. It was erected in 1936.
It did say it's been refurbished with lottery money.
Oh, has it?
Well, there's a plaque on the right hand side. I thought I was reading something about the lottery.
Very impressive tree. Looks like it's been pollarded and grown back.
I think it might be beech.
Come on, Mac. Here we go. Good girl. There's one up. Come on, Mac. Come on. Every time. We've still got a couple of hours to kill before the vets, but Mark's rang them and asked if they can give us an earlier appointment. So instead of 3, it's now 2. So we've come to a little village called Skellingthorpe, which is quite close to the village.
About a mile from.
About a mile from. Is it Saxelby?
Yes.
Where the vets is. So we're just going to have a little walk around here. There's a heritage centre and the Skellingthorpe walk. Don't know what that's got on it, but we'll have a look. Just killing time really. Well, apologies to anybody who lives in Skellingthorpe, but to be honest, there wasn't an awful lot there to do. We walked around the village, there's not a lot to see, certainly nothing worth sharing with you. So we've come back to the van, we're in the community centre car park here in Skellingthorpe, we're just going to have a drink. We've still got about 45 minutes until our appointment, so we're just going to chill for a bit. Also, it's getting quite hot outside and the pavements are starting to warm up, and we don't like walking the dogs on hot pavements, so we'll give them a bit of a break as well. And then literally all we've got to do is go and get the dogs done, and then we're off home ready for the big prep before we head off to Ireland on Thursday night. That's tomorrow night. I've just realised how close it is. It's tomorrow evening. So yeah, we're just going to chill and have a drink for now. Here we are. So we're at the Vicarage Veterinary Centre in Saxilby.
Let me know.
Hello.
Can you grab one? We're going to try and weigh these.
You want me to help?
So,
Oh, got me to which one am I holding? Come on, Lucy, do what you're meant to do.
Wait. Should we sit?
sit, Lucy, sit, stay.
Too excited.
Yeah, I think 5.7.
Somewhere between 5.4 and 6.3 because she's jumping around too much.
So they're coming for the paperwork, but they are they coming for vaccinations as well? That was the idea.
That's right, yeah. So do they need the rabies booster?
Not the rabies. The rabies is sold down until 2028.
Oh, okay.
Let me see what I wrote, because I have my...
And then yeah, they need their annual normal vaccinations and tapeworm.
We want everything to be pristine,
No,
so there's
of
no
course,
confusion.
yeah.
That's it, right? We don't know in the board if they can be funny about it or not. So.
Yes.
How much did they weigh roughly?
This one is Mac. So you can see exactly what they've had where.
Yeah, and I can do, in that case, I take back what I said. So I'm going to write it here, the normal vaccines, and we use those two that they are yours anyway, but just save them just for the rabies, just to travel, because they're not going to be all scribbled.
Right, so that's it all done.
Oh, well, yes.
Well, for
today,
now, to get them
We're
away.
going to come back later, but so that's their animal health certificate done. So they had their rabies jab about 21 days ago. So that's us done. And how much did we say the animal health certificate was at our local vet?
I think it was $299 per dog.
Okay, so
But I don't think that was the rabies jabs and things. I think that was just
and the rabies
certificate.
jabs 113. So that would have been 414 per dog, which would have been 800 and so. Anyway, but we've already paid for the rabies last time, so let's not confuse that. So anyway,
How much were their rabies? Can you remember?
116 for both of them.
Okay, 116, right, okay.
So that one would have been 413 each, 826.
Okay.
The rabies was 116 here, and for everything I've had today, which is the animal health certificate,
Annual jabs.
she's had her jabs, and they've had the worm in, was 236. So that's 352 instead of 800 and what did I say?
26, I think.
826.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're doing this off the top of our head without it written down, but yes, we're roughly saving about 450, 500 quid.
Yeah, so I said 350 as opposed to about 850, about, yes.
500 quid. So, I mean, we've also had to pay for an overnight stay in a caravan, a
25
camping park rather. But we haven't spent an awful lot. It's definitely worth,
But we do that sort of thing anyway.
yeah.
Sometimes we say, the weather's nice, let's go and do an overnight somewhere.
Yeah, and the weather's been lovely. And actually we found a campsite a little bit closer to the vet, didn't we? We haven't used it, but apparently there is one closer by. But that is a hell of a saving over using our local vet.
Yes.
And I think if they're cheaper for that, they're probably going to be cheaper for just about everything.
Yes,
You know.
possibly, yeah.
So, and he was also just really informative, and he was so detailed. He broke everything down so you knew exactly what was what, didn't he? And he's obviously very aware that the customs people between the countries can be a little bit awkward if everything isn't just perfect.
Yes.
So he's made sure that the cards for each of the dogs are pristine. There's no scribbles out
So
or anything.
what he said was, rather than put the rabies vaccine on their existing vaccine records, which are several years old and have got scribbles and crossings out on and confuse the matter, he's given us brand new certificates just for the rabies, so it's nice and clear.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Lucy, that's Max, there's the rabies, end of story.
One thing we did say to the vet was that the idea is that we will get a pet passport in Ireland, and he didn't say we couldn't do it. He just said you might find that you need to have an address in Southern Ireland to be able to do that. So if anybody can advise us, is that the case? Do we have to have a Southern Irish address to be able to get the dogs a passport, or do they not need that? We've heard of so many people on YouTube who've been to France or Spain or Ireland or other countries to get their pet passport, and they've been registered as being in that country. Did they need an actual address? Because that could be a problem for us, couldn't it? Because we don't have anybody in Southern Ireland whose address we could use. But I hope we can, because even though this vet is much more cost effective than our other vet, it's still flipping expensive if we have to get an animal health certificate every single time we take them out of the country. So if you do know the answer, can you drop it in the comments and let us know, because I'm really, really interested. Not just hearsay, only if you've actually done it and you know that you don't need an address, or you do need an address. Whatever the answer is, not hearsay though, just actual facts, if that's okay. Right, I think we're done, aren't we? Shall we head home? Brilliant. We'll leave it there for now. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it interesting. If you have, please do us a favour. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. We're starting to see a little bit of traction building on this channel now, and it would be great to help it grow. And we'd love you forever if you did. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Say goodbye, Mark.
Goodbye, Mark.
Bye.